Ben, I was going to start by asking you to explain to me, please, what's Lightblue and your work.
Okay. So Lightblue is the company that I started about 13 years ago. We are technically a UN awarded tech and consultancy fighting food waste, predominantly in the hospitality sector and the food service industry.
And how does this zero waste food challenge appears with ICCA for this Congress?
Okay, so actually, we have been working with ICCA in implementing the Zero Food Waste to Landfill event certification, which is a certification that is combining preventive measures as well as ways to redistribute food surplus to make sure that whatever food has not been consumed and is safe is actually given to local charities. I've been working with ReFood, local charity here in Porto, and we ensure that all the waste stream are as clean as possible, so the organic waste that remains is actually transformed. So in Porto, it's quite easy because the municipality is actually doing the waste transformation. But the biggest challenge for us was to work with the staff, work with the teams in the kitchens, and measure everything we've been doing in terms of kilos and the type of food that is rescued or wasted.
Sometimes there are misconceptions about these issues.
Yes.
What are the most common?
Excellent question. There are plenty. So first, I find it interesting because most of the people do not see the link between food waste and climate change, for instance. We take it for granted, the food, especially when we live in an urban environment. There was a speaker yesterday that was raising that interesting question. How many of you know a farmer? We don't usually. I mean, it's rare, except for those that are living more on the countryside. But now everybody are in the city, so we lost touch with food and how food is produced and the amount of resources that are needed to get the food on our plate. So first misconception is that, food is granted, which is really not. Other misconception is that, it's only because we have buffet. So in the industry, it's only because we have buffet that we have food waste, which is also a big misconception because food waste is happening at all different stages, from storage to preparation to actually buffet or from the customers. So if you want to have a proper understanding, you need to measure and track food waste happening at all those different levels. And maybe the last challenge is on the financial side. And this is for us the most, I would say, powerful way to get the industry to move in the right direction is to measure and calculate what is the cost of your mismanagement. How is it impacting your bottom line, your profitability, and that pushes them to actually act once they realize. Because if they don't measure, they tend to say, well, we don't really have food waste. And then when we ask them, how many kilos do you think you have before implementing actual measurement, they are always wrong by a factor of 3 to 5. So that means they underestimate, they underestimate the volume of food waste they generate by 3 to 5 times.
Okay. And what are the most powerful tools, let's say like this, to achieve this objective of zero waste food event?
So,
or it varies according to the context.
Yes, it does. So the challenge, of course, with this sort of event and implementing the certification is that so many participants over 4 days and in so many different venues makes it challenging because food is prepared or served in multiple locations at the same time. So if you want to be able to track, you have to kind of demultiply. But if we are looking at the most important aspect is connection with the local community, the players that are basically either collecting the food surplus, so as ReFood does, and or depending on where you are, identifying the right ways or the right organizations that can come and pick up your organic waste to make sure that they will transform it. Because the objective is this, is that one big problem with food waste in urban contexts is that when the food waste ends up in the landfills, it creates a lot of methane, which is a very powerful greenhouse gas. So it's super important that the food waste doesn't end up in landfills, but is being treated correctly and ideally transformed to go back to nourish the soil.
Mm-hmm. And do you think, from your experience, that event planners are fully aware of this
not at all
path?
Not at all. And that's interesting, because initially we have been doing food waste prevention for the past 13 years. And it's only a year and a half ago that we started to work in the event industry. So over those 13 years, our focus was hotels, restaurants, canteens with regular operations. So it's kind of easier to handle. But we started a year and a half ago to start working in the event space. And it's very interesting, but obviously there is no awareness about the issue of food waste. There is very little data to no data. And once you start measuring, I could share a couple of figures with you, is stunning. And everybody is shocked, but they are shocked only because we measure and we realize. So level of understanding is very, very low.
Mm-hmm. And for someone that is not on the process of certification, nothing that heavy, mm-hmm. as a process,
yes.
What kind of measures can start adopting to at least give some little steps?
Yes. Okay. Baby steps. The first one is something that everyone can do easily, is to talk about it, to make it a topic. So I'm talking about the first with the team. So to talk and to raise awareness of the team that food waste is an issue. Training is essential. Then I would say partnership with the local organization, as I mentioned. So having a regular ongoing collaboration with food rescue organization is something that should be the way you run events systematically. Because if the rescue organization doesn't know that, okay, where there's a big event and come at 10 p.m. when everybody is done eating, well, the food will end up being wasted instead of being shared. So I would say this is an important one. And you can also start tracking your own food waste without having to go too much into details, but at least to have an idea. And then that could help to adjust and work, of course, with the catering companies to make sure that those measures are in place.
Mm-hmm. Well, for this to happen, I believe that there's need of someone that coordinates this, or that can be a touch point that puts, yes, in touch a lot of stakeholders. Who can be this figure? Can assume this responsibility, in your opinion?
For big events, for congresses, the PCOs, mm-hmm. I think they are playing an essential role in ensuring that the information, that the local community food rescue organization are contacted and are aware when are those events happening, in which location, and at what time can the organization come and pick up the food surplus. And I would say that on the catering side, they should take also their own responsibilities. So it's a bit of a mix, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And do you see, for instance, DMOs or convention bureaus taking a part in this process?
Yes, it's a good point. I think that they play a role in raising awareness. Mm-hmm. I think they also can play a very important role in mapping kind of the ecosystem of actors that are active on either the food waste prevention side, the redistribution for charity, or the transformation of organic waste. So they can really help to connect the dots, I would say, and raise awareness about the issue, and then of course, enjoy the benefit of those efforts to position their destination as being more responsible and more sustainable.
And amidst all this, what kind of role can technology play? Is it important for? You talked about measurement.
Yes,
for instance.
Indeed. So we are on events. We are using the FIT technology, FIT. So it stands for Food Intel Tech. This is a technology that Lightblue has developed over the past 8 years. So it's a very, I would say, simple to use technology. It's a combination of scales that are connected to generic device. So it can be the tablet you're holding or phone. And basically, it is connected through Bluetooth, and it just measures where you are, when is the food waste generated, the quantities. This is all like automatically logged on the on your database. And then there are only 2 clicks, which is why you're wasting and what is going to the bin. Then all goes to the cloud. You measure basically gram per cover, per day, per shift, per category, per type of food that is wasted. And then all those data helps to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and you receive like weekly performance reports. So this is one of the technology that is very useful to track your food waste.
But well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we are talking about data, information, things that happen after the event and before the event. Is there anything that we can do, or where technology can have a role to prevent waste? And
yes, so actually this is not after the event, it's during the event.
Okay.
So now for the past 3.5 days, we were measuring on an ongoing basis the food wasted with the FIT system. But before the event, this is the type of technology that could be useful. Is anything related to how can basically catering company get all the necessary information to be as precise as possible when it comes to planning and defining the volume of food that will be served. To give you an idea, we started to look at how many kilos of food were produced for the number of guests that was expected. So obviously you always have the challenge of, are the number of guests expected actually showing up or not? But
exactly.
if they are,
sorry to interrupt, but the truth is that, for instance, we've seen this happening a lot. People confirming the presence on an event and then skipping the event.
True. And that's why it's important to have measures if you have too much food to make sure that someone will eat it, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it's just absurd. It goes to the bin. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, but where I'm going here is that it's interesting to see the amount of kilos per cover expected. And what we have seen over the past few days is that we're looking at a volume that is actually too big. We're talking about 1.2 kilos per cover. Nobody really eats 1 kilo of food. That's too much. An average person eats approximately 500 grams. So you see, of course, there is some stuff related to number of guests that were expected, but in the context of what I'm sharing, it was not really the case. But there are some factors that influence as well. How long is the dinner, for instance? If it is, you only have 30 minutes and the people are in and out, they eat less. If they can sit down, take time, they eat more. So it's very interesting. There are multiple factors that influence their origins, their food preferences, their allergies, even the type of, I would say, the type of crowd. So for instance, even the catering company differentiate, let's say, doctors from tech dudes. They would have different eating habits, but this is somehow less tangible, but actually has an influence. And so we're trying to make sense of all of this and starting to think about AI to, collect all those metadata and trying to come up with clearer and I would say a better prescriptions or guidelines to waste less and be more efficient.
Yeah, because you talked about restrictions, and I imagined that nowadays the list of varieties that catering has to produce to go to the needs of the participants is huge.
Yes,
this is an extra layer of complexity.
Definitely. So I think on the technology side, to come back to your initial question, there is probably some room when doing the RSVP or the registration for the events to be a bit more in details. And I know that it's always a challenge because you don't want to take 3 hours, right, to register for your congress. But somehow this would help immensely if everybody was going through at least a bit more information. Then it could help to adjust a lot, the food offering, and then to waste less.
Apart from the project going on during the Congress, how important is for you to be connected with ICCA?
It's very interesting because, as I mentioned, we're relatively new to the event industry, and we're super happy that we started to work with such a powerful organization that is so well connected. So we're learning a lot about the ecosystem, the different players, and their influence or interests related to the event industry. So they have been awesome in just trusting us and trusting also our ideas, and to give us a lot of freedom to implement our process, and they're always very supportive. So I'm very happy to work with ICCA.
So you are based in Thailand?
Yes.
Do you see the landscape from your experience? Is it very different if you are in Asia, in Europe, in Americas, in Africa, regarding for these issues here?
Yes and no.
In terms of awareness, of capability?
I would say yes, but obviously, I mean, awareness, yes, but it depends, again, in what context. If we're talking about global congress, it doesn't change anything, right? It can be in Thailand or in Dubai or in Melbourne. It doesn't really change anything because participants are from all over the world. But generally speaking, level of awareness, for sure, there are differences. In Thailand, it's not that high. It's not a topic that is really discussed, to be honest. So Europe is usually more, it's a topic that is more discussed, and there are more regulations as well, which helps for sure. So this is a factor, yes. But in the context of global congresses, I don't think that it really makes a difference. It boils down to the catering company, or let's say the convention centers, and how they are training their staff or not, and usually it's not.
Okay, I would like to end our conversation by asking you, what are you going to take from this experience here in Porto?
A lot. Every time we're learning about the industry, as I mentioned, about the stakeholders, about their interests, about the power plays, so taking back home a lot of knowledge. We met a lot of interesting people. The participants were also very interested in. So we were running a side campaign on engaging participants and becoming food waste warriors. And it's very simple but very powerful. It's asking them, okay, do you want to be a food waste warrior? And they're like, okay, what does it mean? It means like you're gonna finish your plate throughout the Congress. That's all you need to do, and then you just put a badge on your badge, like a stickers, and they love it. Everyone is like, oh yeah, I always finish my plate anyways. And so we use that not only to engage with the participant, but also to have them to endorse that role, and hopefully also engage with their colleagues. And some people came to us and were like, hey, I don't have the stickers. How can I be a food waste warrior? Is it not part of the registration? Like, no, you need to come to us. And I really enjoyed that as well. And we met a lot of great people who were very supportive.
Okay, Ben, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.